Hello, everyone. This is JPL, and today I'm joined with
Christopher!
yes, and we are podcasting
Podcast
in
name in
brackets.
brackets.
Anyway, how are you doing today, Christopher?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Mr. John Lennon?
Oh, I'm doing a-okay.
Okay.
I have my whole life ahead of me,
Uh,
and I got Jesus.
yeah.
That's really all I need.
Yeah.
You know how it goes.
Yeah. Oh, we got a lot to talk about.
Uh, yeah, I guess.
What should we talk about first?
Where to start? Um,
So many
should we
places
just
we could start. Do you want to talk about what we watched first?
Yeah, like that's typically what we try to do first.
Yeah. All right.
It's easy.
Let's talk about Oppenheimer.
Um, yes, you can start by Oppenheimer.
I don't know how to start. I'll say this. I was shocked how similar our reviews are. We gave the same rating and we feel very similarly about the movie.
Yes, I did read your review before I wrote mine.
Really?
But yes, no. I read your review. It's like, yeah, that's spot on. I
Yeah.
agree.
I think my main point I made in the review was Nolan's other movies, like Inception, honestly, even especially Tenet, like despite however confusing it may seem, the plot is in the visuals. You don't have to really understand anything.
Yeah,
Honestly, you just have to watch it and experience it. While Inception, the whole movie is in its dialogue. I think many people were expecting the movie about the atomic bomb, and no, it's a movie about Oppenheimer. So as much as yes, cool visuals about the atomic bomb, that's not the movie.
no. Um, yeah, like I say, it's Nolan's best written film, just because. Um, Typically for his most popular films, Nolan is a co-writer. It's his brother who writes like the emotional heart of the characters. And so the last one that his brother helped with was Interstellar.
Mm-hmm.
And so with Dunkirk and Tenet, we were really missing the heart of the story, which Nolan isn't the best at writing at.
Mm-hmm.
And so we came here with Oppenheimer, where instead of having this brilliant concept about time or something, it's just a biopic, a really well done biopic about this guy, told in a manner that Nolan does best with,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
With time.
yeah, like with different timelines. Uh, yeah, no, it was very engaging for a 3 hour film.
I'll say, like, going into a movie like Dunkirk, like, you feel like you're taking a moment to catch up, while you don't, in terms of the way the timeline is structured in Oppenheimer, you don't really feel that. Like,
Right.
obviously, at the end, you're like, oh, that's how it pieces together. But you're not really frustrated about its timeline.
Yeah. Did we talk about you watching Dunkirk?
I don't remember. Um, if we didn't, I'll just quickly say, like, it's solid. Obviously, only the way only Nolan can tell it, really. I think, like, again, Oppenheimer kind of like just reinforced that. It does, like, Oppenheimer does feel like a spiritual successor to Dunkirk, specifically in the way the story is told. Um, but also Oppenheimer feels a lot more subtle than Dunkirk,
Mm-hmm.
especially with that timeline type of storyline. No, Dunkirk is really solid. I think it's more like I appreciate the way Nolan can tell a story than I love the movie. It's a well-made movie,
Yeah,
but I'm not in love with the movie.
of
But like,
course.
it's again very well done.
Um, no. For me, like the thing that caught my attention was the sound design.
Mm.
Especially when the bomb went off, when the sound goes out, or just when he's in the auditorium giving a speech, and they do some weird trickery. I
Mhm.
I can imagine uh, next semester or the semester ever, Gershner pointing to this film, to those scenes, is like, okay, so this is how you use lack of sound to make
Mhm.
good moment. thing. No, I just no, yeah, I just really love that. We don't use the lack of sound that often in film, and so when it happens, it's like, oh, it happened. And I'm like, oh, I like shifted myself from the seat because I knew what was coming. You know, do you know like, oh, this is probably the bad thing to ask, but do you know when you're driving down the hill a little bit fast and your body starts to just tingle?
Tell me about it, John. Tell me about all the times you've driven down the hill a little too fast and your body started to tinkle.
Well, it's like that.
I think I I I think we both are like seeing like how people are praising the movie and like straight up giving it full 5 stars. Like I cannot believe how many people I'm seeing give it 5 stars, which I'm not mad about. But it's like incredible. Like because sometimes like for even a movie like The Dark Knight, we might see more like Dark Knight's not a good example, but just a movie that is well received. Sometimes we might see more like 4.5 instead of 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And this we're
Nolan,
just
I
seeing a lot
think
of 5s.
Nolan,
And
for like when you watch a brand new Nolan film without any context, it feels like a 5-star film
mm,
until you rewatch it again, and then again, it's like, oh, wait, it's not that strong.
mhm. But yeah, no, this didn't hit me hard like other people giving it 5s.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main thing I noted in my review is it's just hard to follow along with the dialogue. And you also reiterated there's so many names and faces that it's hard to keep track of.
Yeah, I have a
But
friend who we were talking about the film. He didn't struggle as much because he recognizes actors more than I do.
hmm,
And so like every actor is like, oh yeah, I know that actor, I know that actor, I know that actor. Me, I'm like, I can guess like 2 or 3.
right.
The rest is just like the same white guy.
Yeah. Like I could guess like the top build cast and that was pretty much it, except for Rami Malek. Yeah. And Rami Malek is like the only not white guy in the cast, so he stood out
Sure. Yeah.
regardless. I will say though, like the 2 scenes he's in, he gives off different vibes. So honestly, maybe if I didn't know if I didn't know who he was, maybe I wouldn't have known. So there's that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I didn't recognize anybody really.
Yes, but this was part of the Barbenheimer weekend that we've just been alluding to for a while now. It's just a big meme. It's like Barbie Oppenheimer same
But
day.
also now, like this is like the fourth biggest box office weekend in U.S. domestic history and the biggest since Endgame, and it's insane.
Yeah, like that's just what happens when you have two powerhouses, just
Mm-hmm.
Barbie and Nolan.
Yeah, and then not to mention like coming off the heels of the box office of stuff like Mission Impossible and Sound of Freedom, despite them obviously they can't perform incredibly against those 2 movies, but
Mm-hmm.
still like 2 movies that are doing well. On top of other things, like Elemental still has, despite its very low opening, like it's still holding extremely well, and like other movies. So like it's just shaped up to be, despite yes major disappointments, like Indiana Jones isn't doing well at the box office, and Mission Impossible honestly isn't faring super well.
The
But
Flash isn't
like
doing super well.
the Flash is like out of theaters at this point. It's gone digital, baby.
Oh yeah.
But like it's really wild to see, because I think like a few weeks ago we were looking at the box office like, oh, this is not looking good, and now this weekend we're like, look at us, wild.
Yes.
Anyways, but you got to see Barbie.
Yes, Barbie's the first film I saw because I'm doing the Barbie podcast. It was the
Yes.
thing that we've been alluding to for the past year is coming to Barbie. Um, so really, the past year was just kind of a waste because
Yep.
none of the 40 films we watched had anything to do with the Barbie movie. There's no references, there's no Easter eggs or background actors. It's nothing. It's just, you know about the toy line, you just watch like one good documentary, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, I guess that's fine, but like, I really wished, they could have mentioned the 20 years of cinema that Barbie has been building up.
Did your friend feel disappointed about that?
Um, yes, but he understands that what probably was happening is that the writer director Greta Gerwig, uh, she grew up with Barbie before those films were a thing, so
Mm-hmm.
she was the older demographic by the times the movies were coming out, so she probably didn't experience them. But still, you'd think somebody would do more research on just recent Barbie stuff.
Yeah, I think like regardless of who's doing it, like someone could still be like, "Oh, I have a list of gags that might work in the movie, and take it or leave it." You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
obviously, maybe if that happened, maybe a lot of them were left on the table. But like, especially from what I'm hearing about the comedy of this movie, even referencing Snyder's cut,
Yes.
like it
Um,
seems like it could have been right for any kind of comedy.
sure. Right. There's a lot of innuendo humor that doesn't work. But then there again, oh, Mike, and this film is just so. It's hard to talk about this film because it has a really strong message that's not hiding the message.
Mm-hmm.
It's so there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hiding at all.
Were you
It's
expecting that?
yeah, I kind of was, but not to the extent that which we saw.
Mm.
It's like, oh yeah, sure, it's Barbie. It's a girl power. Of course, there's going to be something. But then it's just like, oh, it's girl power at the expense of men. I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm just it's I don't know.
Are you still digesting it? Is that what?
I see. I'd have to watch it again, but I don't know if it's a type of film that works on a rewatch. Because I got to the end of the film, and the novelty of Barbie in live action, and the meta-ness of the jokes, it's like, okay, that's fun for like one viewing. The rest is just hammered down um, messaging. You have multiple monologues and speeches given throughout the film uh, about the different topics, which are again they are true topics, but they're not done in the best way to be meaningful to me.
Mm.
It's kind of almost at a detriment to the film
Mm.
because the film halts to do the ending. I'm not an authority figure, so I can't really speak too much about it, but it was after the film, after I was in the car ride home, I was like, I don't know if I liked the film after just one viewing. It's just and like no, none of the kids are gonna enjoy this film. Like there were kids in my theater.
Mm.
None of them laughed at all.
Mm.
The parents were laughing. The kids were excited before the film started,
Mm-hmm.
and then the film started, and there was like not a peep from them. They're like kind of getting bored. So
Mm.
yeah, no, it's not a film made for kids, even though they really should have done that a bit.
Do you? Okay. So I understand not wanting to make a movie for kids. I understand you wanting to use an IP to draw in an audience, which they did. Do you think they should have chosen a different IP or a different line? Because let's be
See,
honest, like I don't know what other IP would have driven people to theaters like this did.
but I think initially why I think that part of the messages worked is because of the IP. Like the IP is part of what brings the culture. You really have to know about Barbie and her history throughout the years and her culture impact to really get what was happening. But I don't know. I just, I don't really care. Yeah, no. Well, I initially gave the film a 3.5, like Oppenheimer, but after sitting on it, I brought it down to a 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Barbenheimer weekend. I was very disappointed by just Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it
Like,
not disappointed. It kind of like matched my expectations of
right.
how I'd feel about it. I wasn't really
And it's
expecting them to reference the 20 years of films, but you kind of hope.
right. I figure like that's something really important to you that they didn't do.
Yes. Now
Yeah.
the Snyder joke. Um, I laughed hard when that
Mm.
happened because I wasn't expecting it. The joke was you have some characters, women characters, who are brainwashed to serve men. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's a moment where that brainwashing breaks, and they're like in a daze. It's like, man, I feel like I was in a dream where I was supposed to care about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Which is a commentary. It's like, men, they make you care about Zack Snyder's Justice League by telling you
Mm-hmm.
all about it. Which, is not wrong. It's true. Snyder
Right.
fans they've had some issues
Mm-hmm.
letting go. Um, but yeah, no, I enjoyed the bit, but yeah,
Um. So I guess that's only one example of how meta the movie gets.
yeah, it's one example. You really
Gotcha.
have to see it to just believe it.
Yeah. Again, like I'll watch it eventually. Like I've been saying this the whole time. It has nothing to do with anything I've heard about the movie. In fact, if anything, I with most movies make a predetermined judgment whether I want to see the movie in theaters immediately, right? Christopher
Right.
Nolan's doing a movie, I'm there. A new Marvel movie, I'm there. DC new movie, I'm not there. Barbie movie, I'm not there. Like you tell me any movie and I'm instantly there or not. Now I will say like there's a Korean movie being re-released in theaters, and that's when I've been on the fence about due to the content. I might end up going, but like last, I don't know if we talked about it. Did I talk about Bohemian Rhapsody?
We did, yes.
Okay, so then that same day I saw a Korean movie called Past Lives, and like that was pretty much like, oh, someone really liked it, I'm gonna go see it, and I did. You know what I mean? So Barbie was one of those where it's like, I'm not that interested. I want to watch it eventually, because my floor is, am I desperate enough to spend the money on this?
Mm.
That's my floor. And so there's some things where I am. So this year, besides the Marvel movies, I've seen Past Lives and I've seen Oppenheimer. And maybe I'll watch Old Boy next month. We'll see. I don't know yet. But yeah, Barbie is not just not something I'm willing to spend $10 plus on. But I do want to see it eventually because I am curious enough to see it, but not enough to spend money in theaters for it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yes. So yeah. So this month is Barnes and Nobles had their Criterion sale,
They did.
which they do this like twice a year, 50% off for the Criterion collection. I went.
Oh.
I went just to check because I've never gone anything from Criterion. I just
Yeah.
one was like, maybe I wonder if I should get something. And so I went, I checked, I read through the list hundreds of times because most of it I've never even heard of or not really interested
Mm-hmm.
in. And then I just landed on a couple Jackie Chan films
Oh, cool.
called Police Story. I've never seen any. I haven't really seen any of the Jackie Chan films. I've only seen like the clips of his stunts, which are fun and epic. So I was like, oh yeah, Jackie Chan. He's got some good stunts. And so I got a 2-film collection of his Police Story films, which were fun. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, what other Jackie Chan stuff can I watch? So I watched the Rush Hour trilogy on Max, and then I watched Drunken Master. And I was like, I love good stunts, fighting. And so then I rewatched all 4 of the Ip Man films on Netflix, which are fun, cool. And then I watched the Jumanji films with Mum, because I was like, it's been a while since I've seen Jumanji.
Yeah.
And then we watched the sequels, and I was like, I was dying. I was just hating the entire experience for both films.
Did your mom like him?
No. But, she wanted to see them.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought they'd be funnier, is what she said after watching them. So now I watched Hollywoodland, which was a film that I've been wanting to watch for a while. Because it revolves around like the death of one of the actors who played Superman back in the 50s, and like the mystery behind the death. But what's interesting is that the actor is played by Ben Affleck, and so there's a couple scenes where we see him in like the Superman costume, and I was like, I want to see Ben Affleck as Superman. The film was kind of okay, kind of basic. And then, because my mom really wanted to support the company, we watched Sound of Freedom. So, the film, really good messaging. The story is good, solid, but the filmmaking is just kind of, it serves the purpose, which is a lot of Christian media. So, but no, really strong story.
I might see it at some point, especially since they have like the Pay It Forward program. And again, that's not a movie where I'm willing to spend money on, but if I get a free ticket, I might as well try to see it, kind of thing.
So yeah, those are the films. Man, in the past 3 months, I've been to the movies 8 times.
Yeah. Are there any more movies releasing? I don't think so. I can't think of any.
Blue Beetle is the last one on my radar, but I'm not going to go to the theaters for that. So.
Right. Yeah. So you're done for the year.
I think I am. Yes.
Let me think. So I watched the Batman vs Superman movie.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think really thinking about that movie, because I was talking to some people about it who didn't like it. And the thing, I'm very passive about the movie. I didn't love it. You know what I mean? Like, Man of Steel, like, impacted me. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like, I'm not saying Man of Steel was the bestest movie ever, where, like, oh my gosh, I was feeling the feels for a long time. But, like, especially for a movie I really wasn't expecting anything, it impacted me. And I'm like, this was really solid. I really respect this. So, I didn't feel anything. Like, I will say the one sequence of Batman versus Superman fighting is really cool. Like, it's really smart how it's done, because it is really like, how would these two entities with these two different kinds of power sets, how do they fight against each other? And that was portrayed really well. And for one who doesn't really watch movies for action, I really appreciated that sequence. And I mean, I don't hate the story. I don't hate the movie. I'm not in love with it either. And it's one of those movies where I don't feel anything about. You know what I mean? Like, dare I say, I enjoyed my time, and that was that. Like, and I think, like, there's a handful of movies like in the end, well, I think about like Thor: The Dark World, where a lot of people like aggressively hate, and I'm very passive about it. I'm like, it existed. I don't hate it. I didn't love it,
Hmm.
but it just exists. I don't know why people are so why they call it the worst MCU movie. You know what I mean? I think there
Right.
are worse out there. So yeah, I think that's very interesting. And also, for those wondering, I did watch the 3 hour version, so I'm not dumb. Um, but yeah, I don't like I okay, I do get like many people watch the theatrical cut first, and
Hmm.
I don't know what that's like. So there's that, but like from what I saw, like it's not a terrible movie. It's interesting. I was talking to one person who's like a Snyder simp, and so he was upset at my like 2.5 star rating, and whatever he was saying, he was talking about like what the movie could have been. And I'm like, okay, listen, buddy, I bet what the movie could have been amazing. But here's the dealio. That's not the movie I saw. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it's interesting talking to the other people who are complaining about the theatrical cut. I'm like, an extended cut exists. At least that exists. And that's what I saw. Okay.
Mm.
So it's really interesting, like being stuck right in the middle of the argument where I really don't care. And I get two opposing sides yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like, guys, chill. It's just a movie.
Yeah. I love this film. I was saddened by your 2.5 star review, but like I saw that, thought about it. It's like, oh yeah, that's Christopher. All right. Like knowing you and thinking about the film, it's like, yeah, I believe that.
Okay, I have a question. If I gave
Yeah.
it 3 stars, would you still feel sad?
I uh, I don't know. No, I
Okay,
wouldn't. I'd be
interesting.
like, I'd be like, oh, good. Yes, it's something.
I'll make an argument. I think if the last hour was shorter, not so much heavy action, I don't think it was as bad as Man of Steel.
But it's the
Be-
same formula of build up to like the last hour of action,
yeah,
with 3 action sequences right after the other.
I will say this though. At least there's diversity in that because Man of Steel is practically just Superman going against Zod, while
Mm-hmm.
this we have first Batman versus Superman,
Yeah.
and then it all culminates into these three fighting one monster. So the action ebbed and flowed, where it didn't feel like a hodgepodge of the same thing for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
I
part
would so
and
maybe if the action was shortened, maybe it would have stretched into 3 stars. But
yes,
yeah, because
and
like Man of
it's
Steel, I'm sorry, Man of Steel, like if the action wasn't so heavy, I would have given it 4 stars. That one
mm,
definitely, that could have been a 4 star. But yeah, what were you gonna
okay.
say?
And it's also, of course, you're not as familiar with comic book stories, which Snyder has taken heavily influence from for this film.
Mhm.
Um, like when we had the nightmare sequence where Batman is in that apocalyptic future, you don't know what the main reference is or really what that's alluding to. Um, but as someone like me who's like a big fan, Snyder makes films for fans who dig really deep and expects you to understand the reference material.
Mhm.
And so, because of that, I really appreciate what I see because I don't have to wait or it's not dulled down for a general audience.
Yeah,
But it's sad to see that the general audience doesn't really care for it.
but also like it's incredible to see like how well the two movies did at the box office. I guess especially in comparison with current DC. You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh yeah.
I guess like at the end of the day, maybe they were disappointments because I mean, because I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, so I guess they probably could have grossed better, but
I
like
mean,
they're doing better than current DC.
at the time, like DC had no problems. Um, like you have the Dark Knight trilogy did really
Mhm.
well. Man of Steel did really well. We were all super excited for Batman v Superman, and then after that, everything just started going downhill. To now, we just don't care anymore,
Do
which is
you?
sad.
It really, especially with the flop at the Flash, that barely making money basically. Like it really makes me think like I almost feel like DC should just take a break or not even focus on Gunn's universe. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the general public needs a break.
Right. And also part of it is just like the mishandling of the properties.
Yeah.
How you've had different heads of the DC property, whereas in Marvel we just have Kevin Feige, but we've had like 10 different people in like the past 10 years
Yeah.
take charge, all with different opinions in different directions. Like Aquaman, oh, the new film that's gonna come out eventually. That film is either gonna be just okay or really bad
Mhm.
because they just finished a third reshoot of the film, and there was a film version with one Batman, then they did another one with a different Batman. Now we have no Batman.
Mhm.
I'm kind of sad about that,
Yeah.
but
Hopefully they'll be included as the lead scenes, but I doubt it.
they're not. They're not. But you know, at the end of the day, I don't need it, but I would like to see what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Sad. Why did people not like the movie, Batman versus Superman? I don't get it.
Yeah, I again, most of it comes from the theatrical cuts. Um, the theatrical cut like 30 minutes, not of action, but like of story. So
Uh-huh.
character motivations. Um, there was a lot. So pretty much most of like Clark doing investigating on the Batman and stuff like that. That was cut from the film. Um, some of Lois investigation, the bullet was cut. I have to rewatch. I would have to rewatch the theatrical cut because it's been a
Mhm.
while. Um, but yeah, no, it was just really amazing. Where I watched the extended cut and like, oh my gosh, the story makes so much more sense.
Hmm.
Like, wow, why was this not the one to go with? But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I one of the big concerns was Batman. This is a Batman that kills.
Mhm.
Um, which I don't love that Batman kills, but I can understand the story's perspective of like this is a Batman who's been a Batman for 20 years.
Mhm.
His Robin is dead, been killed by the Joker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's not stated, but it's implied by a Robin statue in the Batcave with "ha ha ha" written on the
Okay.
thing. It's a really quick shot, but that was like the theory, which has been confirmed since. Um, and just the main, and this is just something that I've gathered over like
Wait,
rewatches.
wait,
Like,
sorry. Pause for a moment.
yeah,
How was the Suicide Squad movie supposed to be connected to this universe, right?
yes,
So was that the same Joker then?
it would be yes.
So this Joker is still running loose. And Batman hasn't been able to get this Joker yet.
Honestly, I don't know. Suicide Squad is just a film that just I don't understand.
Okay, but the thing is, regardless of what it is, the point is the Joker was in this movie this whole time, right? The Suicide Squad movie, right? The
Yes,
point is he existed regardless of whatever cut exists.
true.
So
Yes,
my questions still stand. You know what I mean? I just find it interesting. I'm
that
like I'm curious of
the,
like that dynamic between the Joker and Superman in that universe as
you mean
relates
Bat
to questions I was.
you mean Batman?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. But like something that I figured out recently is that it's not a thing where Batman's been killing for years. Batman started killing after Superman destroyed the city
Oh.
because you figure this out by paying attention to Alfred throughout the film. His just disappointment in Bruce.
Right.
He's like questioning everything, like he's trying to get him back, and so this is what I loved. But when I did my research on like the theme of the films, it's like, okay, now I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's even better to me. But that's a rewatch thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why people. Again, I watch an extended cut, but
people
I
don't
don't know
love
why.
Lex Luthor.
What's wrong with him?
He's more like the Joker than actually Lex Luthor.
That's fair.
He's more Lex Luthor is like this calm businessman. Well, what we got is like this schizophrenic, crazy guy.
Right.
I think if I look at his lines on paper, it's like, oh yeah, that could work, but the performance is like, no, that's different. I enjoyed it for what it was, but yeah, I prefer the more traditional Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm. I didn't mind it, but
Right.
I think initially I was a little surprised because I was expecting more of a, say, Professor X kind of character.
Okay.
Like, I mean, like a little more calm and knowledgeable. Not to say he isn't knowledgeable, but not crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that threw a lot of people off. I think another thing was jamming in Doomsday at the end, the monster at the end.
Okay.
Because that was such an impactful story in the comics that built up to that moment. Well, this is just kind of thrown in for the third act, and also shown in like the second trailer. So,
what was okay? So I know Lex had the Doomsday. Why did he unleash Doomsday to try to destroy Superman? Was that it?
yeah, it was like one of his backup plans. Because the most likely is like, oh yeah, most likely, he's not gonna kill Batman. So I'm gonna devise this plan. Or maybe he's just trying to do something to prove his point.
Because you can argue because he's practically crazy, anything can fly.
Sure.
But I do understand where I think this is a similar situation with Quantumania, where you're throwing in a name just to throw in a name and not to actually use it for what it should have been used.
Yeah, it could have been a big studio decision to just add a familiar element.
That's fair.
Like there was some, I think the push for like the Justice League cameos was from the studio versus Snyder.
Interesting, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't know, because I thought that the cameos kind of worked. Because here's the thing. Okay, question. Do you think Wonder Woman was a studio decision or a Snyder decision?
I think she was a Snyder decision, but the other ones probably weren't so.
Because with Wonder Woman being there, I feel like the cameos work.
Yeah.
I feel like if Wonder Woman wasn't there, then they don't really work.
Mm-hmm.
And it does feel like just a hype moment, which regardless, in either case, it is. But yeah, I think, and especially if Zack Snyder, whose next movie was a Justice League movie, as much as, yeah, you can argue Wonder Woman could have been in or out of this movie, it's still, his intention was to build up to the Justice League movie, which at the end, I think the last scene with Affleck saying, oh, we have to prepare for the next thing, and it kind of works. I think. I think at the end of the day, it works.
Yeah, I believe Snyder also had a heavy hand in the Wonder Woman film, so which is why some people theorize the sequel didn't work as well because Snyder wasn't part of that. So I don't know.
But. Top Gun Maverick. So basically, my old roommate, you met him, and wanted. He's been like having an idea to like use my projector to like do like a movie night with people, and so it finally came into fruition that with our deck to do a movie night together, and so we did it in the building, and we had a vote. My main suggestion, Wally, got voted out by. You want to guess what movie?
Top Gun Maverick.
You'll never guess it. Meet the Robertsons.
Oh.
Because here's the thing. Because one fellow deck member really wanted to show it to another one. So they both really wanted to see it. And so they were campaigning hard for it or whatever. And it just really and so somehow the collective minds went towards Meet the Robertsons instead of freaking Wally. And you know what happened? Do you know what the end poll was? It was Meet the Robertsons versus Top Gun Maverick. And I was so upset. Thank God Top Gun Maverick won. Because here's the thing. Nobody messes with Wally. If you mess with Wally, you mess with me.
Yeah.
I probably would have been fine if Meet the Robertsons won. They can't beat my Wally. You don't beat my Wally.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick won, and I was very happy about that because I just wanted anything to beat Meet the Robertsons. But also, I'd never seen Top Gun Maverick before, and it was, the movie of last year.
How was it?
It was overhyped.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think the more I heard about it, I was kind of getting that impression. But regardless, everyone still loves the movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, maybe I'll be convinced by the cinema gods that, oh my gosh, this is movie magic, and I was so wrong for thinking otherwise. No, I don't get it. I'm happy for the people who like it. It's not a terrible movie, but I'd rather rewatch Batman versus Superman. There are many other movies I'd rather rewatch to Top Gun Maverick. Like, it's fine for what it is, but it's not. I don't know, man. Like, it's not up my alley.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll rewatch it. I don't know.
Yeah. You watched it. You watched Batman v Superman on Max.
Yes.
So you got to watch the IMAX 4:3 moments.
Yes.
Which I didn't see until recently when they put it on Max.
Mm-hmm.
Because Blu-ray didn't have that, and so I thought it was interesting to see the full thing, which looked cool.
I have a small issue with it.
Yeah.
Because obviously something like that would be properly maximized in a theater.
It would, yeah.
So basically, what it looked like
smaller.
It looked like a full screen, like something from the '90s, and then widescreen, full screen, widescreen, and I mean, thankfully, it's not like some IMAX cuts where it's like constant switching between stuff. That would be a headache. It was more like there were certain scenes that were made for the IMAX sequences, and so like that made it work. But so it really makes me, because like, imagine if one day I had a home theater, okay, and I either through Max or the Blu-ray, I pop it in, because the 4K Blu-ray actually has the extended sequences.
Yes.
I don't know if it's the same as Max or not. That I don't know. Probably is. But like, imagine like, I have a home theater and I try to show it off, and I can't really, you know what I mean? Because then the IMAX looks small, and then when it's actually widescreen, it looks like what it's supposed to be.
I mean, it looks bigger on your screen than my TV, so
that's fair. That's fair. I wish, you know what? I wish there was an option where it would conform. So like the IMAX would fill up your screen regardless of your dimensions. Okay. You know what I mean? So yeah, you would miss the top and bottom, but it would properly fill your screen. You know what I mean? So like on Disney Plus, you have the option to watch either option. I wish kind of the same on Max. So you could have the option to watch either one, for one that actually fills your screen, or if you want to see the full IMAX sequences, you can see it like it looks like a full screen. And I have a question. So Justice League, so is that full movie in the full IMAX?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
full movie's in the full IMAX, and so when I finally got to see that for Batman v Superman, I was like, oh, it's just those like 4 scenes. I was like, oh, I thought there was an entire film.
Yeah.
It was overhyped.
Yeah.
But still.
So like that, at least the full movie is consistent like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of makes me a little more anticipated to see it, but I also do wonder, like, what would it be if I had a cut where it just simply filled my screen instead of being in what almost seems like a full screen picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find it very interesting because, like, again, like the Disney Plus, like IMAX expanded Marvel movies, not completely, but it almost fills your screen instead
Mm-hmm.
of trying to be like a full screen as in what we knew full screen to be in the olden days.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'm just trying to say is I find it interesting. I'm not mad about it, and also I just wish there were options in how to watch it. Yeah. But I will say, I think tonight I'm gonna try to watch Justice League.
The original version.
Okay, here's the thing.
Oh.
There's a rumor going on that Max is going to be removing Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Ah.
So the trailer off YouTube, the one that has the most views, it's gone.
Well,
And
you
Warner
know,
is saying it's a music copyright thing, but that's honestly a lie because YouTube, the music stuff's already taken care of. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Like if you're distributing that trailer, different story. But if it's on YouTube, it shouldn't be a problem. And then people in Europe are saying it's not on there. It's still HBO Max. It's not on HBO Max anymore for some people in Europe.
Mm.
And so I'm freaking out personally because I really want to see the black and white version. And so
Oh, okay.
I'm going to just do it. I'm watching the black and white version tonight. Um, so one day I'll watch the Josh Whedon version. I wish it didn't come to this, but if Warner is actually going to remove this, I want to see my black and white version.
I'm not surprised.
Because
'Cause-
again, like I said, I was planning to watch essentially the Josh Whedon timeline and then come
yeah,
back. I
yeah,
was truly planning that. But if Warner is actually doing this, I can't miss out.
yeah.
Because
No.
I went on an ArgArg website and I can't find a black and white cut. So, like, I don't know if it's not released physically. In fact, I actually bought the physical thing just in case. If I don't like the movie, I'll sell it. But um, but like in the thing, there's an insert that says watch the black and white version only on HBO Max. I'm like, well, dang it.
Yeah, no. I mean, ever since the release of the film and it was like being more popular than the actual original version, Warner's has been trying to bury that film by like cheap tactics. And I
Yeah,
think that with the strikes going on now, like they found their opportunity.
yeah,
They're
it's
like,
really
okay,
unfortunate.
residuals. We don't want to pay those actors that we have in the other films, but not the other ones. So there you go. You're going out.
It's really unfortunate if it's
At
true.
least, at least we have physical media for this.
Praise God for that. Honestly, isn't that a miracle?
So yeah, no, it is a miracle. I love
Like,
that I have mine.
we shouldn't be saying it's a miracle. Like, physical media should be normal. You know what I mean?
Oh! Do you want to hear this beautiful things news that I heard recently?
What?
So we're gonna get this steelbook case
Yes.
for WandaVision, but with no discs. Oh, wonderful!
I cannot believe it. I was looking at that website, and it seems like they're more like they do licensing outs. It seems like for stuff. So like on there, it was all sold out, but we're like alternate steelbooks for like Multiverse of Madness, and I think that's kind of cool. So
Mm,
if you don't like the original one, or you can't find the original one, then you can buy that one and then pop your discs in it.
yeah,
I think that's really cool. But we have no physical media, no legal physical media of WandaVision. This is just decoration. It's
yeah.
painful.
At first, I thought I was like, "What? They're finally gonna do this?" And then I read it's like, "Oh, what? Why are they doing this?"
Oh, crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, best case scenario, maybe this got announced a little too early, so that maybe we are getting WandaVision, but I doubt it.
oh yeah,
So if it does, then I'll consider buying it. But if it doesn't, then I'm not buying it. I'm talking about I'm not talking about the steelbook. I'm talking about the actual thing.
I mean,
Um,
yeah,
lastly on my list, and I went on too long. Actually, sorry, intermission with that. I'm now in season 24 of South Park. So except for 2 episodes that are not on Max, due to South Park has 5 episodes of depictions of Muhammad. So those 5 are not on Max. I've seen the first 3 of those. The last 2 I have not seen because I forgot to hit them when I was going through South Park. But now I'm on season 24. So at this point, I've seen everything in South Park. So I might try to finish it out from, you know, where I'm at. I might not. We'll see. But save 2 episodes, I've seen all of South Park. So this is something I started back in 21 and kind of limped through, and then not until like sometime this year I kind of got serious. I think I was like halfway through and I got serious. So accomplishment for me. I just want to throw that out there. Obviously, I know you don't care enough for me to give week by week updates, but I figured I basically have seen it all, so I just wanted to
yeah,
give that big accomplishment update.
big
So
accomplishment. Yeah,
yeah, so you mentioned the Criterion sale, and so I bought a few movies, and I saw one of them. It's a movie called Following, and it was released in 1998, or that's what it says on here. I thought it was 99. Do you know who directed it?
is it Nolan?
Christopher Nolan. This was a
Yeah,
movie, a short film, 70 minutes he made before Memento. Um, I think he said in an interview he filmed it over the course of a year because he had like full-time jobs. So basically, in their spare time, they made this thing. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, I was really tired, and so about 40 minutes in, I conked out for 2 minutes. um, so I did not really get to fully experience this, but I've seen it. I like know the basis of the story, but at the same time, like I like was like in and out during the second half.
yeah,
So I feel really conflicted. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So I've kind of seen it. So I mean, so what I do, I have IMDb where I rate things for myself, and then Letterboxd is like the publicized version. So there's a lot of movies I don't have ratings for, just because either I'm not confident in it, basically just that. Um, so like I gave a personal rating on IMDb, but nothing public on Letterbox because I'm not ready to tell the world. Oh, I think I might have given it 2.5 stars on IMDb. I can't remember. I'm just throwing that out. But that's not a fair rating. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I do not give the movie its full chance. And so maybe one day when I have, and then I have a more confident rating, maybe I'll pop on a 4 star, 3 star. I don't know what. But that didn't happen. I will say
Yeah,
it's a black and white movie, so I had my fun.
yeah.
um,
What did you think about the black and white elements of Oppenheimer?
loved it.
Mm.
Um, like for me, like I've said before, I only think about black and white when I think about it being in black and white.
Okay.
And so I think obviously he used it as a way to tell his story. Um, but like it was seamless for me.
Mm.
It didn't ruin. I haven't heard anyone say anything about it being in black and white. So I've not heard positive or negative feedback on it. I loved it personally. What about you?
No, I loved it too.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to see more black and white in modern movies.
there was a point in time during the film where me and my friend both had the same understandings. Like, we were trying to figure out why the use of black and white was being used for the specific moments. And at first, like, it made sense. It was following Robert Downing, But then, like, there's a couple moments where it didn't make sense about why it was in black and white, and so that's the only main criticism that we had, was that there are some moments where it's like, why this choice at this time?
I think I will say Nolan did say the black and white scenes are objective, while the colored scenes are, I think he said subjective. Basically, like we see with color scenes, like the time when we're gonna hit spoiler territory now. So like the time when he basically revealed his affair, or when he was talking to like the gymnasium of people, and like those events, I think very clear cut, did not happen in real life, but they were in color, and it hits more that subjective idea. I forget where I was going with that. Yeah, I lost my train.
Well, that's a shame.
Oh, I will say the ending. Like, I honestly had to look up an article because I didn't catch the dialogue for the end.
Yeah.
But after I saw an article, like, the movie really clicked for me. Like, oh, dang, we got a Nolan ending in this movie. The frick? Like, I wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. The unhappy ending.
Yeah.
For Oppie.
Oppie.
Just for Oppie.
I thought it was actually really interesting. They actually called him Oppie in the movie.
I know. I was like, huh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah. Like, I guess, like, for a movie being so serious, that was the last thing I was expecting.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't so left field where it threw me off or made me laugh, but it was left field enough for me to be like, I did not expect that.
Mm-hmm. So, the last time that we met, I was telling you, well, no, in the podcast.
Okay.
I was telling you that I was getting rid of my Max subscription.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, because of that, I went on a binge to watch as many of the Max shows that I felt that I needed to watch before the subscription ended.
Nice.
And so we had The Last of Us, of course.
Did we talk about that last?
I had watched the first few episodes.
Okay.
And so I watched the full show. It's really well done, really well made.
Mm-hmm.
It does a really solid job of bringing the story of the game, but like I said, I alluded to, it skips like some moments of the game that is part of the gameplay of it. So some of the exploration of different moments or the different enemy types. There is some of that here, but it's just like for like one or two scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And like those are very memorable scenes, but if you play the game, they're like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was missing kind of that. There were like some moments that the game, most of this stuff the game did better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still really solid, really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched House of the Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Watch House of the Dragon. It's well made, well performed.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. Each episode was like a time skip, so the season was like taking place over like many years, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it got really confusing because like halfway through the season was like a 10-year skip, and we had to recast our main character. And I was like, oh, well,
interesting.
Yeah, it was that's interesting, but it's also like really sad. Like, oh, I just got used to this character. Now
What happened? Was it due to age?
Oh yeah, like they started out as like a really young kid, like a teenager, and now they're like an adult, like a woman, and so you had to do that. So it made sense. It made sense.
Right.
But it can be jarring.
Yeah.
Like the different skips. And so, yeah, no. I think the original series at its best was like somewhat better, but this was still a solid season.
Mm-hmm. And better than the last season.
Oh, for sure. Definitely much better than the last season. Um, then I watched a show called Band of Brothers, which is like kind of a successor to Saving Private Ryan. Spielberg and Tom Hanks produced this series.
Okay.
Um, it's a really fantastic miniseries, really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard about this thing, but like I never really thought about it too much. I was like,
Right.
you know, it
Yeah.
just kind of went below my radar because teenagers don't really think about war stuff. And then I watched a miniseries called Chernobyl.
Oh, I've been wanting to watch that.
It is fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I wasn't really expecting much about it. I was like, oh, I heard that it's like kind of a horror series.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking like, oh, is it gonna be like monsters and such? No,
Oh.
no. Like, what do you know about radiation sickening and radiation effects?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know much, but I know it's based on Chernobyl, like the radiation event.
But do you know how powerful and deadly radiation is?
No, not really.
Okay, but I do. And so I'm watching this series and I'm seeing like straight from the beginning, like I'm horrified throughout the entire show because I know what the effects of this thing is, and yet they don't. And that's so interesting.
Oh, okay. Question.
Mhm.
I mean, I will say, like, I don't know details. Obviously, I know an abstract, like, it's not cool. You know what I mean? Anyways,
It's
so
not
then
cool.
how I never thought about asking this, and I guess I should now. How visual is it then?
How
Like,
visually.
like for me who doesn't like gore, how will I fare?
There's not a whole lot of gore. There's
But
like
like it,
one or two scenes.
okay, then I could probably deal with it.
But it's not. Yeah, it's like
Okay,
one or two scenes.
it's not like The
Um,
Walking Dead. Okay, cool.
Not like that. Not like that.
Okay, cool. Then I should be able to
You should be
handle it.
fine. There
Yeah.
is this one scene where we have nudity. And it's
Hmm.
just like a bunch of naked guys. But the context is that they're working in a mine shaft that's really hot,
Hmm.
and so they're just working just to
Hmm.
not be dying of heat stroke, and so
Hmm.
it's played for comedy. And then I watched a show called The Pacific, which is like another. I think it's like a sequel to Band of Brothers,
Hmm.
but this time taking place in the Pacific.
Did Spielberg have any?
Yeah,
Okay.
they did. It's not as good. It's not as
Hmm.
well told. But it's still solid.
Hmm.
And then that was the last thing I watched on Max before it ended. And so then
So now what are your services?
now one of my services is Hulu, but my Hulu ends tomorrow.
Oh, so what are you gonna watch now, John?
Hold on, I'm getting there.
Okay.
So the next thing I watched was The War of the Worlds, which was a BBC miniseries, 3 episodes long. Terrible show. Like, it's so boring and so tedious to get
When was
through.
it released?
2019.
Fun.
It's 3 episodes, and yet it was so tedious to watch. Like, this shouldn't be a tedious story. Like,
Right.
it's aliens invading Earth, but it's so boring.
Hmm.
I just, it was so baffling just to watch, and it's like, man, this should be more exciting.
Hmm.
And then, my crowning achievement,
You finished Smallville.
I did.
Look at us. I
Yeah,
finished South Park. You finished Smallville. Look at us.
I finished Smallville,
When did you
10
start
seasons
Smallville?
long. Huh?
When did you start Smallville?
It was like November of 2020 or spring of
Wow.
21.
So
Um,
basically, like same timeline for us.
yeah. Like I got it. I got Hulu for the Black Friday sale for like a year,
Right.
and then from like 21 to 22, I didn't have Hulu,
Hmm.
and so this past year I got Hulu, and because I got Hulu without ads recently, I just binged the rest of the show.
Yeah.
It's solid as a whole. Like, it's better than all the other CW shows, Arrowverse shows. It's very impressive how it's a show that's 10 seasons long, but never goes down the level as the other shows have. So
Good.
solid, yes.
And so it was a CW show?
No,
No. You were just
yes and
using
no.
comparison.
So it started as a show on one program, but halfway through Smallville, that TV program turned into the CW.
Interesting.
And then it shifts into more of like the superhero aspect, where you can find all the flaws that the feature stuff is gonna use so much, but here is like used sparingly. So yeah, no, I was happy. I'm happy to be done with the show.
Yeah.
But I also I go to Walmart and there's like the entire DVD set of the entire show there. It's like, man, the timing is just terrible. I just finished the show. I might buy it anyway. Who knows?
Is it like $100 or something?
It's like I don't know. I can get it for like 60 to 50 on eBay. So
Yeah, that's fair. eBay's the way to go.
eBay.
Speaking of eBay, I want to. Or actually, I saw a deal on Amazon to get the Prestige for like less than 20, or like the 4K Blu-ray set, right?
Oh, okay.
So, toying with the idea.
I
haven't seen it. It's not on any streamers I have right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what streamer it's on.
So the last thing that I watched is a Netflix anime. It's a bizarre one. It's just about comparing bathhouse culture of Japan in the Roman era, and it's about this Roman.
In Japan during the Roman era.
In Japan and the Roman era.
So we have two different timelines going on?
Yeah. So what happens is that an architect who does bathhouses from the Roman era somehow travels to the future and sees like the Japanese bathhouses and uses that inspiration for his architect. And so each episode is like the exact same, but it's so much fun to see it play out. It's funny. Their like interpretation of like future technology. They're shocked by like a rubber ducky or something. It's like, oh, how could these people have this advanced technology?
So like, it's a comedy?
It is a comedy. Like the entire time, the guy has no idea that he's going to the future. He just thinks that it's this distant land that has this technology. And so it's a comedy.
Honestly, that sounds incredible.
Yeah.
That show sounds incredible.
I mean, it's not a great show. I mean, because each episode's the exact same, and the animation's meh, but the idea is interesting enough.
Okay. The idea is very interesting. I am very intrigued. Like, that's the most intrigued I've ever been in an anime.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of butts in it, but, you know.
That's the wildest idea I've ever heard.
Yeah, no.
It's hilarious.
At the end of each episode, the author like goes on a tour on the different different bathhouses that inspired each episode.
Oh, like live action sequences?
Yes.
That's
yes. So you get to learn culture in this show.
Oh, now I feel like I have to watch this. What is it called?
Oh, what's it called? It has a weird name. Let me bring it up real quick. It's called Therme Rome Nove. So just on Netflix, just look up Roman, and you'll find it. Things get more interesting each episode. The first episode is the worst one, but there you go. Yeah. So my plan going forward, once Hulu ends and starting in August, to get Disney Plus, start watching
Or
Secret
Ahsoka.
Invasion. Secret Invasion, yes.
Oh, wait. You can start Secret Invasion now.
I'm not going to though.
Okay.
I know. I thought about it, but I was like, no, I'll wait to it. I'll just wait another week. So Secret Invasion,
So when are you getting Disney Plus again?
August.
August. When?
Probably first.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
What if like on July 31st you started watching Secret Invasion, and then August 1st you finished Secret Invasion?
What do you mean?
Like you watched the first 3 episodes on July 31st, and
Uh-huh.
you watch this. For those who don't know what we're talking about, they put the first 3 episodes of Secret Invasion on Hulu to get people to Disney Plus.
Sure.
So, for those who don't know what I'm referring to. But for the sake of the podcast, it's not going to matter because we're not going to talk by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. We'll reconvene when, we watch it fully.
Mm-hmm. So I have one more episode, and you have yet to see it. But
I have yet to see it.
yet
Yes.
to see it. Also, Guardians hit. I mean, we're not. You're not. I might not. We'll see. But it's also hitting Disney Plus August 2nd. So I hear that the physical media, at least Blu-ray 4K, I don't know about DVD, but will include like expanded scenes.
Mm.
But I was also hearing a lot of theaters, so beyond IMAX or under IMAX, dare I say, also had like expanded sequences. So I wonder like how different the sequences or similar will the sequences be compared to the physical media and the Disney Plus version.
I don't know.
It's just something I'm curious about. So, yep. I mean, I'm planning to buy the movie.
Yeah.
I like it enough that I want to own it.
Yeah. I still need to watch Ant-Man, so.
Oh, you haven't seen Ant-Man yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Is your mom still home?
Yes.
So I guess that's a you and mom movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. I mean, I'll watch it without her. I guess she's not here. But yes. It's a together thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, big, lovely thing. We got our first photo of Hugh Jackman in the new Deadpool film.
What do you think?
Oh, it looks beautiful. I love it. I saw that and I was in disbelief. I've been wanting this for years.
Yeah. I think one of my friends made a comment like, he said like this only works in a Deadpool movie, and I'm like, honestly, you're right, because I'm not gonna lie, say what you want about the X-Men suits in the original trilogy, but they work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
obviously
cool.
they're a product of their time, but like the joke was like a yellow suit is kind of funky, and so obviously it works best in a Deadpool movie like this.
Sure. Yeah. But we gotta embrace the comic booky side of this, and I love they're doing it. Yeah, it looks like the character design too.
Mm-hmm.
All he needs is the mask, which they might have different varied costumes. Who knows?
Yeah. And so we got that photo a few days before the actor strike. So what was really interesting is that the strike was supposed to happen at the end of June, but the studio said, "Hey, we want a little more time. Could we have 2 more weeks?" And so the guild gave them the 2 weeks. And reportedly, the studios didn't even negotiate during those 2 weeks. They just wanted to promote Barbie and Oppenheimer, among other things. Isn't that sick? Like, it's wild. It's hilarious.
This entire thing is just sick and wild.
It's sick and wild. Because, again, because I've heard so many people, and I just haven't been able to have conversations with people. If I could, I would. But I'll just say it here, despite nobody listening. When we think about actors wanting more money, we're just thinking about big heads. But the
Yeah.
thing is, there are so many actors that we know nothing about. For example, there was some Netflix original show that the actors were saying we had to work second jobs to survive.
Hmm.
So this is not a matter of people like Robert Downey Jr. He has enough money. He doesn't need more money. It's about other people who want this to be their career and just need a little bit as they wait for another year for them to finally pass an audition.
Yeah, I saw that most of it was like television actors
Yeah.
who were struggling the most. And like, yeah, no, you don't really think about it because like we're just so desensitized to like the glamour of the acting business. Like, you make it, you get all the monies, that's what they teach you, and then you do it, and it's like, man, where's the money? I'm not
Yeah.
getting paid anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's horrendous the amount being paid and the treatment
Mhm.
of the actors. So,
I think I think
and the
it can
writers, of course.
yeah, I think can be seen like many different ways. Maybe studios need to be better about paying people up front. Then maybe we wouldn't need residuals.
Sure.
Maybe residuals are necessary. I think like we can attack it many different
Residuals is
ways.
very necessary because a lot of actors were saying it's like they survived a lot with residuals when they couldn't have work.
Right, but what I'm saying is like imagine they had bigger paychecks, then would residuals be necessary? You know what I mean?
I mean, over time you get more from residuals, hopefully, than the bigger
Hopefully,
paycheck.
but obviously they
Unless it's
aren't
like
right
millions
now.
of dollars, then yeah.
Right. What
Um,
I'm saying is right now they aren't making enough in residuals where
yeah.
but like it's and again I'm not trying to downplay residuals. I'm just saying like there could be many different ways to look at the situation. Um I'm spewing like incomplete thoughts in my head. But
Sure.
also like some actors are saying like they aren't being treated super well. Like A24 and The Chosen are two studios basically who are given passes to film their movies or TV shows because they are not the major studios. They have to like get like an exemption from the guild. But basically, at the end of the day, they are studios that if they could, they would accept the you know the demands and are treating their actors fairly. And so it's not just being paid. And yes, AI is a significant issue also, but it's also just the workday, the workload, how actors are being treated. Like if you look at like the demands and how much the studios ignored, like it's actually crazy. Like some things are just legitimate things that you'd think humans could just get, but like no, the
Hmm.
studios just want to go 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 and make money and not take time or spend money to care for the
Yeah.
people that they've employed, and it's insane.
I'm glad there's a lot more awareness now because of like what's been revealed
Yeah.
because of this. But no, it's still really insane. One story that I've heard is from the Power Rangers back when they first came out in the 90s. Um, like in the first year of the release, the Power Rangers as a brand got like $1 billion,
Hmm.
but like the actors weren't getting paid anything.
Hmm.
Like even they were getting nothing from residuals, which was
Hmm.
like insane. Um, but yeah, no, like hearing the AI thing about it's like background actors they'll pay you nothing, like almost close to nothing for your likeness, and then they'll not pay you anything to use your likeness later on.
It's insane.
No, yeah. And I was like, what, AI? This is what you're planning to do with AI? Like, what?
Hmm. It's concerning to say the least, and it really is just diminishing. Like it, at the end of the day, it just reveals like the studios all they care about is saving money while spending money.
Yeah. And so, like, now all the Max and HBO Max just, like, not having a lot of the stuff now. They're getting rid of it for tax stuff. For one, like, it's for tax stuff, but now, with what we have going now, like, it makes a lot more sense. Like, they don't want to pay those residuals.
And even if they are pennies.
And it's like I could guess like they're gonna not show stuff even more now.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, crazy.
It's. I am very intrigued to see how long this goes. Like already, a movie starring Zendaya has been delayed to next year because they want to sell a movie with Zendaya. They want Zendaya to promote this movie. You know what I mean? And so the new Dune movie might be delayed. They might even delay the new Aquaman movie because they can't use their actors to promote stuff, and it's crazy to see. And so it's really again wild to see like how a studio has no problem spending $350 million on a Fast X movie, but doesn't want to pay writers a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe make a Fast X movie that is maybe 300 million, and then use that 50 million to you pay your people. I don't know.
But like, what's even just like the underhandedness that they're doing to these actors while they're protesting. It's like they're blocking off streets. Universal cut down trees so they wouldn't protest in the shade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the heck?
It's like, so you're spending money to do this, but not pay your people?
Right? Yeah. No.
Like, again, A24 has, I think, 2 movies that have gotten, waived, by the guild. And so imagine now if a studio goes to a writer, it's like, hey, can you write this? And the writer's going to be, no, we protested for 2 years, and despite you meeting our demands, we don't trust you. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or actors even. And then, like, obviously studios will, once all this is resolved, if it will be, studios and these people will work together. But imagine like even someone like Nolan, where he was burnt out by Warner. You know what I mean? And then not to mention Warner put Barbie up against his movie. Does Nolan ever want to work for Warner again? I doubt it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And so like his is one big example, but imagine like how some people may feel where people may be like, yeah, maybe I'm not being paid as much by A24, but at least they respect me.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I'm also very curious, to see because, but like Deadpool isn't due till next year. So obviously,
Man, if things weren't getting delayed, they are now.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is we won't see the effects of these things until at least next year, unless they delay more movies, which they probably will. But like are how willing are they to not meet these demands and eventually run themselves out of money? You know what I mean? Will it happen? I don't know. But there's again, this summer we Fast X is being really expensive. At least Oppenheimer is making up for it. It seems like
Sure.
some Disney movies aren't doing well, but at least some movies are making up for it. So it's really interesting. Like some do super well, some do really horribly. So Barbie's going to do well, so hopefully that'll help make up for the Flash. You know what I mean? Anything can happen, but it's really wild to see.
Yeah. Even Bob Iger is like trash talking the people.
Isn't that insane?
I know.
I was reading something that made me remind me of something. Do you remember the clip of Bill Gates on the Ellen show where Ellen's like, guess how much this is? And Bill Gates couldn't guess like any of the prices?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah. So I saw a tweet that was kind of like comparing it to that, where like some of these people, these super rich people, like they're so out of touch with reality that they don't understand. And Bob Iger is probably one of those people who, and it's really crazy and sad to see.
Right, yeah. Like Andor is still in production. I'm kind of worried about that.
I heard the filming was stopped.
It's still going.
Oh, what I heard is SAG actors can't work because British people aren't under it.
Yeah, but like the SAG actors, like they could be very important parts of the series.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Alan Tudyk. I don't know if he's part of that, but like he's a big he would be a big actor that they would need to have in that season.
Mm-hmm.
So,
did you hear like House of the Dragon season 2 was still filming because none of those actors are SAG actors?
yes, that makes sense.
That was
That
funny.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. And then there was some tweet because like the tweet didn't mention about the fact that they're under different guilds. So there was like a quotey tweet that said, "Can incense wait?"
Yes. Very true.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's wild. I hope the writers and actors will win.
Man, yeah,
But
I really wish I was back in university and go to cinema class and just hear the students just talk about this. Like the conversations, even from the professors, would just be so interesting. I wish I was there for this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll say like at work, like I'm just hearing some like I think the writers they were a little more understanding, but the actors they haven't been. And again, I haven't been able to like sit down and school people. You know what I mean? Because like you've been on headset, it's a busy place, and so
Yes.
it's and you don't want to feel like a hog. So yeah, there's some people who's like, oh, the actors just want more money. No, no, it you don't understand. You don't understand.
Yeah. No. They're not fully informed.
Yeah,
Well, if their idea is like really outdated,
yeah,
they're thinking about celebrities.
yeah.
Like,
But again, AI is a mess. I'll say there was something I shared on social media, and someone replied, and he's like, it was interesting how the person said, imagine a world where you didn't have visual entertainment. And he's like, well, there are other things to do. Like, you could read a book or play an instrument. I think, yeah, that is really important. I do feel like it's really interesting that as a society, we have such an over reliance on visual content. And I mean, I've been a victim of it in the past year where I've been watching more and more and more.
sure. Yeah.
But I think my obviously payment is obviously a major thing, but my major issue, baseline, end of the day, is the AI deal because this is a dangerous precedent. Already, like Marvel's Secret Invasion title cards, using AI. That's the first major thing, and so that's dangerous. The studios have already been using it for background stuff. That's scary. And then now, Twitter being renamed as X and powered by AI. The CEO says, "What does that mean? I don't know. It doesn't sound great." And the most ironic thing is the fact that we literally have a movie in theaters called Oppenheimer.
Yeah. No. I read your review. That was like a really interesting part. I didn't really think about.
Yeah, like I doubt no one planned for that to happen,
No.
but the timing, insane. Yeah, but here's the deal at the end of the day: the people in power, they don't care. They just want money and power, and it's sad.
Yeah. What's even worse, at least for me, is that it's not just like the strike isn't just like affecting the actors and writers. Even like people on social media are taking part of this because SAG rules are kind of iffy. And so there's one channel that I watch every day is now pausing their stuff until they get clarification from SAG about what the rules are for them and their stuff. Which is like, I hate that. One of these guys aren't really part of SAG, but still, man, like these are my go-to people every day that I look forward to. Those are the first people I look for, and like now, I'm not gonna get their stuff until they decide what to do. It's like, what? It's gonna be so lame.
I was hearing something very interesting though. Is there were some people on Twitter who were like, "Oh, does that mean we shouldn't go to the movies?" And people were saying, specifically writers, they were saying, "No, go to the movies, make these movies hits, and show them that we matter. I thought that was interesting.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting, and especially a movie like Oppenheimer, and for many people, a movie like Barbie, like those people are considering those well-written movies. And so
Mm-hmm.
if people are going online saying, "Hey, I love this movie. You see the script? I want these people who wrote this movie to be paid." And the writers are saying, you know, the box office, the online, you know, discourse is on their. They hope for that to be on their side. I thought that was really interesting because um, different circumstance, but there was a K-pop group which had contention with its in Korea their agencies, not necessarily labels, but they had contention with their agency. I'm not going to go into full detail, but fans boycotted the agency, even down to not streaming the music. So to some degree, boycotting the group, not necessarily the members, but the group. And so the agency at one point said, "Hey, we're going to release a new album, you know?" And pre-orders were down 98%.
Ooh.
Like they only had like, I don't know, 500 copies in the pre-order queue or whatever. So they canceled it because they couldn't make money that way. And so eventually uh with lawsuits filed, all the members were able to leave their company. But it was actually really wild to see how a boycott can work. You know what I mean? Because it sometimes feels like sometimes we see an outrage where there's some people who's like, "Oh, let's boycott." But especially imagine if people try to stage a boycott during Barbenheimer.
Right.
Wouldn't have worked. Well, what? This is the fourth biggest box office weekend in forever. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I guess my thought is if a boycott was attempted to be staged, it wouldn't work
Sure.
because there are too many people who are not online enough to know about said boycott to ditch the theater completely.
Mm-hmm.
Even though theater attendance in theory is down, there's enough people going to the theater. And I think this weekend it was a good example.
Yeah.
Is there any other news that you wanted to tackle?
I don't know if there's any other news that I can think of.
Yeah, there's just been, I don't know. There we haven't talked long enough and there's a lot that's happened that we can't remember, but obviously the strikes were the major thing, I guess.
Strikes and majors thing. We talked about what we watched.
Mhm.
So
Oh, rumor is that if the strike happens for at least another month, and that will mean Deadpool gets delayed.
most
Again,
likely. Yeah.
I don't have true backing behind that, but I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool to know the timeline of that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Oh, I thought was interesting. Again, I only heard this from one place, so take it with a grain of salt. But the reason Deadpool was able to be moved up is because the movie actually would have been done around that time, anyways.
Mm.
So it wasn't necessarily that it would have been rushed. It was just the way they scheduled things out, and that's the slot they chose it for. But it should have been done before then. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if they would have taken the extra time to try to finish it, but they moved it up, and now they'll probably move it back again.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know because obviously Deadpool is not done filming, unlike some other things. So, but so also like TV, so like ABC is airing Miss Marvel, um, because they're trying to buy
Ah,
time.
yes. Yes.
Uh I don't know who they're and is it I don't know. But basically the Yellowstone TV series will also air on television, I believe for its first time. I don't remember what station that is. And then also we probably talked about last time, the CW picked up The Chosen just in time.
Yeah, it did.
So I think it'll be also really interesting. Like, will studios also start to will studios be desperate enough for them to say, we're not making enough money, let's release these stuff on physical media? I hope so. That'd be cool. Like, as much as that's a way for the studio to make money, at least we'll finally get stuff on physical media if that happens. We'll see. I think Disney might be the hardest egg to crack, though, out of all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you have you listened to the mixtape at all?
I did.
Okay.
As
Did
usual,
you watch
before.
my video at all?
I didn't.
Okay, well that's fine.
Do you want to talk about the mixtape?
Um, we can save it for next time.
Really? Okay.
Unless you really want to talk about it.
I don't know. How about I have general thoughts. I don't have a song by song review.
Okay, general thoughts.
Do you want me to do that?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I was pleasantly surprised. Because most of these songs, the instrumentation is based on symphonic rock / power metal.
Okay.
Specifically, I say power metal, especially with the drums or guitar solos, and then symphonic. Duh. Because I know that you tend to like things as it relates to the content you watch.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, you don't go out looking for music on its own.
No, I don't.
So it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I'm still surprised that you still like this. And I'm not going to lie, I almost want to send you something at some point to get your thoughts on it. Something, it would be a little heavier, but, in the power metal vein. And
sure.
To see like, oh, do you like this? Or is it too abrasive for you? Because I just want to see like where your boundaries, your barriers are at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that left me pleasantly surprised. So much so, I'm excited for part 2. There were a song like Gold. It's just fine musically. Well, let me say, I think the standout track was When It Falls. That was probably my favorite.
Okay.
But like in a general despite liking the instrumentation, it's not like I say, oh, this is a standout song, that's a standout song. You know what I mean? Yeah. I had the one, and I like that song so much so I think I might add this to my playlist. So I was listening to Gold, and I thought it was really interesting. I think about K-pop, my relationship with K-pop a bit, and if I play some song to somebody, I think for most people they're just going to be like, it's just a song. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And my relationship with K-pop is the fact that part of the reason why I love the song is also because I love the members, like the people behind it make it special.
Yeah.
Blackpink and ITZY are major examples for me. There are other groups that I love. IVE is a great example. I don't know the members that well, but like their music is so special to me. So that's a little bit of a different story. But they're under like K-pop sound. Like I love their sound. Sorry, they fall into that's what I want K-pop to sound like. And then there are groups like I remember I listened through all of Blackpink. I said I like half the songs I don't care to ever listen to again. Mm-hmm. And then I started to like, oh my gosh, these members, I love these people. And then I listened to everything, even the crappy stuff. You know what I mean? Mm. I didn't care. I just loved the girls. You know what I mean? And they made the music special. Anyways, so I was thinking about a song like Gold, where the song probably means more to you because, of your association.
Again, like I made this mixtape to tell a story. Mm-hmm. Gold, not one of my favorite songs, but like the thematic elements are like later referenced later on, so that's why I put it in here.
But like this song means more to you than it does to me.
It does because I'm more familiar with it from the show, for sure.
That's kind of what I'm saying. And then so maybe even many of these songs, like they probably will stand out more individually to you than to me. because it kind of just sounds like I heard a lot of pseudo power metal, and except for the one song, they all kind of blend together. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just
No, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to like them all back to back. Like they're
Mhm.
all the same, but
Yeah.
like I'm there for the vibes, I guess.
Yeah.
No.
I'll say I don't like the vocals.
Okay.
I have a question. Is it the actors singing?
No.
Then that's even stranger to me. Because they don't stand out to me. Like
Okay.
they're easily my least favorite part of the songs. I'll say like When It Falls is my favorite musically, but like that song goes hard. But I don't care about the vocals. And I think I'll put it this way. If the vocals were more tolerable, I think I'd add more to my playlist. I haven't added When It Falls to my playlist yet, but I will. But I think it's the only song I'm adding to my playlist.
Okay.
Simply because I can't really get on board with the vocals that much. They just I don't know. They don't sound great to me.
Okay.
Yeah. And to be fair, there it's not just this. There are other things within genres I liked. I don't like the vocals. So I'm not just being picky for no reason.
No. Yeah, you had the same observation the last time you listened to Ruby music, where you weren't a fan of the vocals.
Oh wait, you played me Ruby?
Oh, yeah, a couple years ago. Yeah.
Was it for like video or something?
It was for a video that I never made. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I honestly don't 100% remember it. I can remember like a scenario. I don't remember the music per se. But
Yeah.
okay, that's interesting that I'm consistent. Yeah, so let me see if I got a basis of the story, okay?
Okay.
Let me try. So definitely in the first song, we see said main character who lost someone either by death or betrayal or just simply MIA,
Okay.
right? And the person's mourning. And so I think Red Like Roses Part 2 is like a continual reflection of that.
Okay.
As we hear, I'm just going to say deceased person speaking from the grave, their memory. Gold, I honestly feel like it's still harkening back to that, but could just be a friendship or something. And then honestly, from then on, it gets muddy. There are definitely some songs, like Divide, and I think When It Falls, I can't remember off the top of my head, but where we see a villain, saying, "I'm the bad guy, surrender, submit to me," and then we see some songs where our heroes are like, "We're gonna fight and we're gonna do our due diligence."
Yes.
So I think kind of past like a few songs, I started to lose grasp of a strong story. But yeah, so that's what I was able to grasp.
Yes.
I think I see myself revisiting this as I listen to part 2.
Yes. I'm just gonna give you part 2 right now.
Okay.
Um, I'm letting you keep part 1 because that just might help you go
Yeah.
back and forth just to help you. But yeah, no. There is more than one character to keep track of, which you can't really tell from vocally.
Yeah.
It's very slight, but they sound exactly the same.
They sound pretty similar, yeah.
Because it's mother-daughter.
Oh.
Yes.
So is the daughter fighting the mother, basically? Mother's bad, girl's good.
No.
Okay.
No. Like really, the visual, really just the video gives you a thumbnail of the character that the song is about. Which
So helpful.
so it is kind of helpful.
Not for me.
But it just gives you an idea. Okay, they're distinct. Okay, this character, that's one character. That's a different character. But yeah, no, you're pretty spot on for the most part.
Okay, interesting. What was the tragedy though of the first song?
The tragedy of the first song. I mean,
Did he die? Is he MIA?
the first song and the second song aren't related,
Okay. Still,
but
path to
thematically they are
isolation.
similar.
Path to isolation. What happened? I just want to know.
To
The
the
first song.
character, to the character in the story, or just what inspired the song.
Who died? Did the person die?
Not in the show, but the song is also referencing the creator of the show who died.
Interesting.
So there's going to be a lot of mentions about losing someone throughout the series, and a lot of it's reference to the creator of the show.
That's really interesting. So, okay, so how are these songs used in the show? Are these like the characters singing these, or are they like abstract songs in the background of an episode?
They are abstract songs in the background, except for like one or two moments. The Path of Isolation is a song that takes place like in season 5, but chronologically, I put it much earlier.
Okay. Okay. That's really interesting. Okay.
Because that's the beginning of that character's arc, but they just did like a flashback with that song in it, so that's why I put it here.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. There you go. And then I'll get there's Ruby Part 2, which for those listening, if you want to know what it is, it's let's just live like morning follows night. This life is mine, armed and ready. Lucis Natore, the triumph. All things must die. Miracle, lion eyes, and nevermore. There you go.
There you go. Do you want to talk about my playlist or not?
No.
Okay.
I'll talk about it next time.
Did you listen to it or not?
I did not.
Okay. Still, that's so funny to me. Anyways.
No, I didn't listen to it.
Yeah, okay. I said it before, I'll say it again. Because like I come on like, oh, I did just playlist where I didn't listen to it. I'm sorry, and you act all disappointed. And you come on and you do the same thing. It's just so funny to me. And what makes it even worse or funnier is the fact that this time it's a 5-song playlist.
I know. I don't have a job. It's really I'm just
that makes it worse, John.
really it's just because I have like existential crisis, and so that I don't listen to music. No, it's just like I'm not really on my computer listening.
That's fine.
Stuff.
It's okay.
But still, like, there's not really much excuse.
There isn't, but like, it's not the biggest deal.
Like, it just takes like.
No, this is all I want, John. I just want equality. That's all I want.
Equality, just like the writers and the actors, they want equality.
I'm not gonna lie. There was part of me that didn't want to hit the playlist, but I did. So I was like scared of like coming on and be like, I'm sorry, John, I didn't listen to it again, and then that's what you hit me with. It's funny.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's funny. That's all it is.
You know, I'm over it. It's been like over a year since we started doing these things, so
yeah,
I know you.
Okay, were you expecting me to like this playlist as much as I did?
No.
Okay, I will say, like, are all these songs stuff I'd revisit leisurely? No. But I think because musically these are up my alley, it was a little easier to digest. And then with lyrics, I was able to grasp on a little more story.
But again, like I knew that you probably were gonna find the vocals not something you enjoyed, and so that's like, okay, you probably won't like this if it doesn't like the vocals.
But I liked it more than I expected to, or even you expected me to. So
yes, good.
There's that.
It's good little boy.
I'm a good little boy.
Good little boy. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, so Ruby, like, they're definitely not gonna get a season 10.
That sucks.
Like, it's not been greenlit yet. Usually it is.
When was season 9?
just recently. Just recently. Just a few months ago. And so, yeah, like man, the company is just, it's like on its dying breath. Like, they just changed their logo. And look, it's terrible. They went from like a black and red logo to now this terrible just blue with just like a little bit of red. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's honestly, they should have just finished it when they had the chance.
Yeah. Why did they extend it so long? Money?
I mean, yeah. I don't know if it's money. Like, it's just, it could also be a corporate thing, because like they're technically owned by Warner Brothers, and so they had that Ruby and Justice League film, which apparently was a part 1.
What?
Like,
Are you planning to watch it?
If it's on Max, if I ever get that again. Like, I saw it's like, oh, it's on DVD, and I look at the title, part 1. I'm like, wait, what? Are you telling me you've made more than one part? Which I doubt they've actually made another part.
Right.
Because Bruce's Teeth is just terrible with the animation department. But yeah, no.
Okay, so if they got a season 10, how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how rushed would it be if they ended it with season 10?
Very. Very rushed. Because like they've been going so slow for like these past 9 seasons. To just like end it with season 10. Like, I want it to end. Because like it's so past its prime and it just needs to conclude.
Okay, so if you were the studio and you said, okay, I'm giving you X amount of seasons, finish the story, how many seasons are you giving them?
To like do it properly?
Yes.
Okay, so like I think from what I can envision it, they would probably want 3. I think 2 is a safe bet.
Right.
Even then, that's kind of, honestly, they dug themselves a hole. They dug themselves a hole.
And thoughts you're expressing right now, it's not just you, it's everybody basically.
Oh yes, there's a lot. I mean, a lot of people really liked this last season, but it's still, because it was more character focused than the actual story. But like, there was no progression with the actual story this past season.
How many episodes are these seasons?
Oh, they range from like 10 to 12.
How far did you get into the series with Jonathan?
Me and Jonathan made it through 7 seasons, and then that's when we caught up. I watched through season 8 when it came out. I haven't seen season 9 because it's on Crunchyroll and not free on their website or on YouTube like it used to be. I'm sad about that, so I gotta pay.
Why not you get Crunchyroll?
I really should, because there's an anime that I want to finish, but like,
yeah,
I'm saving money till next month, so I have to,
how
because
much is Crunchyroll?
I don't have a job, Christopher.
Yeah, how much? I understand, but how much is Crunchyroll per month? Just curious.
I don't. I assume it's like $15 ad free.
Okay. Question.
Like the typical what?
How many stars out of 5 would you give Smallville? Overarching.
Overarching, I give it 3.5.
Figured.
Yeah, like most other stuff on CW, I would give it 3. Like overall. Yep. So for what? Well, hold on. What is this? I'm looking at their pricing options. Okay. What? So, okay. So you have the $8 subscription, which, what is this? Okay, you have the $8 subscription, which gives you no ads. Get you unlimited access.
Mm-hmm.
New episodes right from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You get access to like their manga, their digital
Mm-hmm.
manga, and you can stream it on one device at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And for $10, you can get offline viewing 4 devices at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, first access to a Crunchyroll Expo event and lottery. What? $15 off a $100 purchase in the Crunchyroll store every 3 months. But then here's the kicker: for $15 a month, you can get an annual swag bag and access to an exclusive limited run figure.
Fun.
What is this? What is this business model?
It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, like $8 a month. That's what you need. I don't need anything else here.
Right, but the people who want it, oh, they'll love it.
Yeah, no. It says the best deal is the $10 one.
But it depends. Oh, you know what? What I wonder how hard it's going to be, like switching to between devices. Like, will it make you log out of a device? You know what I mean?
I mean, stream on one device at a time. Yeah, for
Because like sometimes,
$8.
like for example, like I can have Spotify logged into my Roku, my phone, my computer, but I can only stream on one. Or will this be like, oh, you're logged into something else? Log out of that so you can log into this. You know what I mean?
Well, it specifically says stream on one device at a time, so you could watch it on one, but not 2 at a time. The other one is like you could stream on 4 at a time. Oh, $15, 6 at a time. Oh, man. Well, that's just a bizarre business strategy. Like, there's no ad light. It's all like, whatever you pay, you get no ads. You're just paying for like swag.
Mm-hmm. If it works, it works.
I guess. So it's not that bad. But still. What an interesting
Because
bunch.
I figured at some point you're gonna hit an anime kick. And you gotta
See,
satisfy that anime kick somehow.
I am in the anime kick, I think. So
Are you gonna hold off on Disney Plus?
no.
No. Like you
No.
can wait for Ahsoka, you know.
I'm not going to wait for Ahsoka.
What
Like,
Ahsoka's like mid to late August, right?
yeah, but like I'm a Star Wars addict. I gotta do
Well, that's what I'm
stuff.
saying. You hit it once it releases.
Yeah, but there's like Secret Invasion.
Well, listen, it's only Secret Invasion, right?
Right.
Yeah, you can wait.
Yeah, all right, whatever.
I,
Anyway,
I'm just saying, like, I feel like you would get more out of your buck paying for Crunchyroll now. Spend the next 3 weeks on Crunchyroll, and then you hit Disney Plus and you hit your
I
Secret
get a
Invasion.
14-day free trial, so
Oh, you should do that.
I should.
You should.
Because, by the time that's done, it'll already be August, and so I can pay.
Basically, I think that's a good idea.
I do too. My Hulu ends tomorrow.
Yes. Day after, it's Crunchyroll time.
Crunchyroll time. Hold on, is PureFlix doing like 1 month trial? Let me. Nope, it's still 1 week. Okay.
Okay.
Don't ask why I asked that, but okay. Anyway, I think that's all we're going to talk about for today. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.